Hello everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. I'm Kishore and I'm going to solve a hybrid Sudoku sent to us from LogicWiz. So if you have reached this channel through the link provided in the app, you must probably be a new viewer and we welcome you to the channel. You have reached the right place if you're looking to take your Sudoku solving and puzzle solving skills to the next level. So on the channel you'll see a lot of playlists. We have playlists like classic Sudoku with techniques where you'll see us attempting a live solve on a classic Sudoku which has a tough or advanced strategy, and you also have playlists that help you to spot tough strategies, extreme strategies and diabolical strategies. All these playlists have been extremely enjoyed and we would highly recommend you to check out these playlists. We also have playlists for puzzle solving and some fun playlists like speed solving where we attempt to solve as fast as enjoyable. So all in all, you'll have lots of playlists on the channel which are categorized really neatly. So at the moment, as I see, we have 960 subscribers. We would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. We have been trying for a long time to reach more than 1000 subscribers. It's been almost close to 2 years now. So I would highly appreciate that you subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button below and hit the notification, the bell icon as well, so that you do not miss videos from us. The videos on the channel are posted by myself and Ashish. We have represented India multiple times on the Sudoku and puzzle teams, so you can expect that we know our stuff. We mostly try to tell the best of the tricks and strategies possible to solve the Sudokus and puzzles, and the videos are posted on an alternate day basis. It basically depends on how well the video that we posted previously is doing. If it's not doing so well, then we post video almost daily too. So please subscribe in order not to miss any of these videos. So about LogicWiz app. LogicWiz is a Sudoku mobile app. As you can see above my video, there is a logo given. It is a Sudoku mobile app that is available freely for download from the App Store and the Play Store. And as I understand, there are 17 different variants on the app apart from classic Sudokus too. The variants that you can see are Thermo, Windoku, Sandwich, Irregular and many more. And in addition to these, you will also see a combination of these variants like the one you see on the screen today, a combination of variants, right? So the thing that stands out for me in this app is that it has been, the grids in the app are created by humans. So it is not some random computer generated grid where it is so bland to solve, nothing interesting to solve. But all these grids are created by humans and they all have beautiful aesthetic designs and extremely good solve paths. I have solved a few variant from the app and I found them really interesting and definitely worth having on your mobile. So please download LogicWiz app on your mobile. So it would be really nice addition to your mobile. And let me talk a bit about this grid now. So I'll just explain to you the rules and the game settings that I'm going to use. And for that, I'll just close this window momentarily and then open a new window. So you can see that the grid is compressed a bit now. So do not worry, when I'm going to solve, it will be the original size. This is compressed because I'm going to show you some icons. So let's start with the top right first and then I will come to the top left, this area. So can you see a small bulb icon here? When you click on that, at any point in your solve, the app shows you, let's say you are stuck on a point and you want to know how to continue. So you can click on the bulb icon and it will immediately show you a tip on how to continue. And do you see these small 3 vertical dots? So they are game settings. If you click on that, it shows you some options. You can click on that to see, for example, if you click on dark theme, you can solve the grid under night mode, but I would generally prefer to have a light theme, so I'm going to go with this. And then you have game settings, how to play, video tutorial, start tutorial, and how to play basically explains to you all the game settings, right? So let us go to this game settings and I'll just explain to you what I'm going to do here. So perhaps I can just expand the screen a bit here. Just a second. Okay, so I hope that makes the screen a bit clear now. So I've just expanded, but you won't be able to see my face, but that is only temporarily. So you can see here many options. Show timer. So if you do not want to solve under the pressure of a timer, many people like solving competitively, so they let this option on, right? They keep it on. But since we are solving it leisurely, like this is a video, I'm not going to keep it on, so I'm going to keep it off. But you can always turn it on by moving it, just clicking it out once will take it towards the right. So I'm keeping it off. And auto check for errors. It has 4 options: always, on rule violation, delayed, and never. So when you choose always option, and let's say you write a digit into a cell, if suppose the digit that you have written in the cell does not match with the digit in the same cell in the final solution of the grid, the app compares, right, the digit you have written, the digit that is in the final solution. If they do not match, instantly it shows you that you have made an error. I do not want the app to do this to me because I'm confident that I'll be able to solve the grid without any errors. So I'm not going to choose this. And what is this on rule violation? So as the name implies, the app shows you when you have made an error in rules. So for example, you write 2 same digits in the row, or you write 2 same digits in the column, or you write maybe 2 same digits in a box. The app will show you that you have made this error. In addition to that, let's say you have a thermometer on the grid. In thermometers, the digits are supposed to strictly increase. Let's say you have put 2 same digits on the thermometer. So that is a rule violation, right? So at that point too, the system will highlight to you that you have made an error. So this is what on rule violation means. And if you click delayed, probably the error will be shown to you after some time, right? And if you click never, it is never going to be shown to you, and you are going to live with whatever errors you might make. So I'm going to choose this option because I do not want the system to help me in any way. But of course, if you are a beginner or intermediate solver, you can always go for this on rule violation. That is an excellent addition to have. So I'm going to choose never here. And highlight matching numbers. So which probably means that let's say you have written 2 5s in the grid. So the moment you write one other 5, the 2 5s that you have already written will also be highlighted. So this also you can have or you need not have, but I'm going to turn it off. I don't think that would really be needed. Highlight restricted areas. So this is probably for beginners. I mean, what it does is, let's say you put 3 in the grid. Now all the places where the 3 cannot go because of the 3 you have already written in the grid will be highlighted to you. So let's say you have written 3 in row 1 and column 5. Then it means that row 1 cannot take any more 3s, so row 1 will be highlighted. Column 5 will not take any more 3s, so column 5 will be highlighted, and box 2 cannot take any more 3s, so box 2 will also be highlighted, right? So that's what highlight restricted areas means. And I do not need that because that is I'm comfortable finding which areas the digit can't go, so I do not need that. Highlight matching pencil mark. So which means that if you have as the name implies, if you have written a 2, let's say, as a pencil mark, it will show all the areas where you have made the same pencil mark. So that's what it means. So you can keep it on or you can keep it off. I do not require that, so I have switched it off. So you might see me switching off every tip that the app is giving you, and that is because I consider myself quite an advanced solver, and that's not out of overconfidence at all. It's probably because I'm solving Sudokus for close to a decade now, and I've represented the Indian team as well. So all these tricks I would prefer not to have, and I would prefer rather to solve myself, and that is the reason why I'm switching it off, and not because of overconfidence. So please don't interpret it that way. And auto remove pencil mark. So if you let's say write a 9 in the grid, and in the same column you have made a pencil mark of 9, the system will automatically remove that. So perhaps you can keep this on, but I would rather keep it off because I want to remove it myself, so I'm keeping it off. And show remaining digits. So this means that it will show you how many instances of a particular digit are remaining in the grid. So let's say you have written 6 ones, then the app will show you that 3 ones are remaining, right? So I do not need this, so I'm going to turn it off as well. And the first option that I'm going to keep on is long press for multi-select. So this means that you can drag and select multiple cells in the grid. So this is quite a useful feature and you can keep it on. I'm going to keep it on. And you also have display combinations panel, which means that if you're solving a killer Sudoku, let's say, all the sum combinations are displayed to you over the top of the grid. So I do not need this to happen. I'm going to switch it off. And highlight jigsaw borders, you can keep it on. So if you are solving, let's say, an irregular Sudoku, it's going to highlight the borders to you. This is quite an useful feature. And keep screen awake. So that is also important to have. I'm going to keep it on. And then auto pause after, you can keep it for as long as you want. I'm going to keep it 10 minutes. And then you have double notation option, which means that you can, as you can see at the top of the screen, it says double notation enables you to enter both corner and center pencil marks in the same cell. You can switch between double and single notation with long press on the pencil mark style button. So this is quite a useful feature to have. Now, for people who are new to seeing these corner and center mark, terminologies, it's nothing but what I would call a Schneider notation, right? It is a common parlance in the Sudoku world. So it is often used by top solvers and many other solvers as well. When you write something in the center of the grid, it basically means that those are the exhaustive list of digits that can go in this cell. So let's say I have written 4 and 5 right at the center of the cell. It means that 4 and 5 are the only digits that can go into that cell. But if I make a corner pencil mark right at the corner of the cell, let's say I've written 2 in corners of the cells, in 2 cells in the same box. This means that in that box 2 can only go into one of those 2 cells. So these are used parallelly by top solvers and many others to make the solving process a lot easier. So I think I've explained everything about the app now. So let us go back and I'll just make the screen right. It's comfortable now, right? I think it's comfortable. So now I'll go to the left of the area. So you can see here that some logos are given to you. Just by seeing this logo, you can understand what the rules are. You can see, for example, a thermometer in the grid. So there is a thermometer rules apply. You also see some a zoom kind of icon in the grid, so that stands for killer. And then you can see an arrow symbol, so arrow rules apply. And you also see a bishop icon, HSP's kind of icon, so bishop rules apply. And the moment you click on that, it is going to show you in detail what are the rules of the grid. So classic rules apply. Each row, column and 3 by 3 box will all have digits 1 to 9. Thermo Sudoku rules apply. Digits on each thermo line have to be in ascending order, starting with the smallest digit on the bulb. So from the bulb end to the flat end, digits will be strictly increasing. Then you have killer rules. The sum of the digits in each dotted cage must equal the number at the top left corner of each cage, and digits cannot repeat in the cage. Then you have arrow Sudoku. Digits along the arrow must sum to the number in the circle at the base of the arrow. So basically you have a circle and a stem attached to that, and all the digits in the stem when added will give you the digit in the circle. And digits may repeat along the arrow as long as they don't violate Sudoku rules. And bishop rules. Digits along each bishop line cannot repeat. And if you click on the more icon, it even shows you a visual representation of how the bishop rules work. So for example, you see a line, right? There is a small line which is very light. On this you can see that if you consider this line, this is a wrong notation because 7 and 7 are repeating on this line, so this is wrong. But you also see some light green colors, tick marks. So these are right. So 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 4 digits do not repeat. and this is wrong again, right, because 1 is repeating along the line. I hope this line is visible, it's too light to see. 378129, so no digits don't repeat, and so this is correct as well. So these are the rules that are needed to solve the grid. So I'm going to close this window now and go back here. So this was the grid which was sent to us by LogicViz, and I'm excited to try it out, and I hope this video is enjoyable. I apologize if the introduction is a little bit lengthy. This is needed on how to familiarize with this wonderful app. So I will start the Sudoku now, and the small icons that you see here are quite easy to explain. This is a pencil mark icon. The moment you click on it and write some digits, it puts a small pencil mark here, and this small 3 dots that you see here is used to shift between corner pencil mark and center pencil mark, right? Once you click on it, it changes, as you can see. And this is an eraser icon. You can long press on it to see additional options. It helps you clear whichever options you want to erase from the grid, right? And this is a color icon. You can use this to color some digits in the grid if you're interested. And this is the undo button. You can undo any number of times to remove the notations that you have made, right? And this is the redo button, okay? And this X is used to place some X in the grid. This is quite useful in grids like sandwich Sudoku, where you want to eliminate digits, cells which cannot take 1 and 9. So this X is used in that. So these are basically the icons, and you can see here digits, right? So I've made sure that this is also seen so that it's easier to understand what I'm doing when I'm solving the Sudoku. So I'll start the grid now, and hope this is enjoyable to you. So let's start by looking at this 3 cage. There is only one option to fill it, which is 1 and 2, and I'm going to convert it to center, right? It's a center pencil mark now. And similarly, this 3 cage can only take 1 and 2. 1 plus 2 is the only option to get to 3. And 14 you have here. 14 can only be formed in 2 ways, 5 plus 9 or 6 plus 8. Because this is a 2-cell cage, these are the only 2 options. And you have 15 here, which can only be 6 plus 9 or 7 plus 8. And let's see, you have a 7 in the grid now, right? So a 7 has only one way of getting formed when it is comprising 3 cells, and that is going to be 1, 2 and 4. There is no other possibility. And are there any more such cages where we can write digits easily? So 7 in this cage has 3 some combinations, so it's not useful to go here. And the other grids are also not so easy to decipher now. Okay, so okay, as you can see in the grid, it has a kind of symmetry. For example, in box 3 you have an arrow this way, and in box 7 you have an arrow the opposite way, right? Like if you rotate the grid, it is probably going to look the same. And rotate the grid by 180 degrees, I mean. Okay, in row 1, where does the 9 go? So a 9 cannot be present on an arrow, because the moment you have 9 on an arrow, then the circle will have to take a digit more than 9. So 9 cannot be in here, 9 cannot be in this killer cage, and 9 cannot be here as well, because if you have 9, you need a 2 to satisfy the 11 total, but 2 is already in both of these boxes. So 2 cannot be here, 2 cannot be here. So there is only 2 options left for the 9, these 2 cells, but 9 cannot be in the middle of a thermometer. So 9 would have to go here. So I'm going to click this pencil mark once more, which means I can write a fixed digit in here. So 9 goes in here. And 9 is removed from this cell. So I'm clicking this pencil mark again and pressing the 9 once on the keyboard. So that removes the 5 from this cell. Okay, so now in this column, if you look carefully and ask yourself, where does the 9 go? 9 cannot be on an arrow, 9 cannot be in this cage, 9 cannot be here, 9 cannot be in these two thermometers. I mean, part of thermometers. So 9 has only one option, so 9 goes in this cell, which means this would have to be a 5. Okay, so, and now look at this 18 cage. The moment you do not have a 9, okay, this 18 cage needs to take an 8 in these cells. Let's see what happens if it does not have an 8. So the maximum sum that you can take is 5, 6 and 7, which gets you to 18. If you do not have an 8 in the grid, that takes you to 18 just about. But you also need a 5 to get to 18, but 5 is already placed here. So this proves to us that 8 must be part of the 18 cage. Okay, so I have placed 9s in column 1 and column 2. So in column 3, 9 must be in these 3 cells and 9 cannot go in the 7 cage. So 9 must be part of the 18 cage. Okay, so this, okay, look at this arrow. The minimum sum of a 3-digit arrow is especially when digits do not repeat on the arrow. Obviously digits can't repeat here because this is in the same box. The minimum sum is 6, 1 plus 2 plus 3. So which means this can be 6, 7 or 8. And regardless of whichever digits goes here, 1 must be part of these 3 cells. If you do not have a 1, the minimum sum becomes 2, 3, 4, 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is 9. But 9 is already eliminated as an option. So 1 is going in here. Okay, this is beautiful. Look at this box closely. Now in any row, column or box of a 9 by 9 Sudoku, the sum of the digits is going to be sum of the digits from 1 to 9, which is equal to 45. So from this box we have 9 distinct digits which add up to 45. You have a 3 cell cage which adds up to 18, and you also have an arrow which is just going to double up to as far as the sum of the box is concerned. So if you have a 6 here, you get 12 from these 4 cells, and 12 plus 18 is 30. And if you have 7 here, you have 14 from these cells, and 14 plus 18 is 32, and 18 gives you and 8 gives you 16 from these cells, and 16 plus 18 would be 34, right? So you can straight away eliminate 6 and 7. The reason is because when you have 30 from these 4 cells, 30 or even 34, I'm sorry, 30 or 32 from these cells, then both of these cells will add up to, first let's say what happens if this is a 6. You will have 1, 2, 3 here, which means these 4 cells add up to 12, and 12 plus 18 is 30. So from these 2 cells you will have 45 minus 30, which is equal to 15. But you know that these 2 boxes as a whole, I'm going to highlight those, the purple boxes will add up to 15 because 8 plus 7 is 15. Now if you have 15 from these 2 cells alone, how are you going to satisfy the cages 8 and 7? That is not simply possible. So which means that you cannot have a 6 here. 6 is ruled out as an option. So let me erase this. So this could be 7 or 8. But can 7 be possible? Look what happens if this is a 7. Then you have 14 from these 4 cells, 7 multiplied by 2. 14 plus 18 is 32. And you must have 45 minus 32, 13 from these cells. Now both of these add up to 15, so which means you can still satisfy that by putting 1 and 1 here, which gets you to 15, but that would break this part, right? You need a 1 in these 3 cells as we have notated at the start. So which means that that is also not an option. So the only thing that can get into this cell is, oops, I'm just pressing backspace here. This has to be an 8. That's the only option possible. Now you have 16 from these cells, and 18 plus 16 is 34, which means these two cells must sum up to 11, which means these two cells must sum up to 15 minus 11, which is 4. So this would have to be a 1, 2, 3, and this would have to be a 1, 2, and 3. It cannot be taking a 4. And correspondingly, this will be 6, 5, 4. And for this case, this is going to be 6, 5, and 4. Oops, this is a little bit incorrect. The moment you have 1 here, this would be 7, 6, or 5, right? Okay, so we have not looked at this area at all, which is like symmetrically opposite to that. Let's see here a little bit. Now in a 20 gauge, 1 and 2 can never be part of the 20 gauge, because the moment you have a 1 or a 2 there, you can never satisfy the total. If you have 2 here, you will need 2 9s in the grid, which is not possible. So which means that the 1 and 2 in box 3 would be somewhere here, right? In row 1 and row 2. And you also have 1 and 2 in box 2 here. So which means your quota of 2 1s and 2 2s for rows 1 and 2 are done, which means this cannot be 1 and 2, right? Because row 1 will have 1 and 2 1s, and row 2 will have 1 and 2 1s. So you already have obtained that, which means that 1 and 2 cannot be in this area. That's what I'm trying to say here. Just a second. 1 and 2 can never be in this area, right? So I can eliminate the 1 and 2 from here. So this becomes a 4, which means these would be not a 4. They become 1 and 2. And obviously you can eliminate 1 and 2 from the arrow. They cannot be here, so they would be in these 4 cells. 2 of these 4 cells will take a 1 and 2. So remember that I have not converted it to center pencil marks, because the moment I do that, this is not a valid notation. So I will just keep them as corner pencil marks for now, because they can be in any of these 4 cells. Okay, so 4 is not in this case, and 4 cannot go here, because as per Bishop rules, you cannot have digits repeating along this line, right? That is also part of the rule. So 4 in box 4 goes in one of these 2 cells. And this 4 eliminates the 4 from here. This cannot be 4, which means this cannot be 3. And when this becomes 1 or 2, both of these cells, remember, add up to 4. When you don't have a 3 here, this cannot be a 1. And which means this cannot be a 7. So we get a 5 6 pair in here. And now I know the combination for 8. This would have to be a 1 3 4. It cannot be a 1 2 5 anymore. So this becomes 1 3 4, and I convert it to center. And now we have got the contents of the 9 gauge. It becomes 2 7 and 9. So let's look at this 18 gauge now. We need 2 more digits which sum up to 10, and that cannot be 1 plus 9. And you can't have 2 plus 8, because 8 is already in here. It cannot be 4 plus 6. So this would have to be 3 7 8. So we are quickly getting the contents of the cage now. So when you have a 7 here, this becomes 7. This becomes 2 9. And when you have a 3 here, this is a 2. This would be 6. This would be 5. This would be 2. And let's see. So 2 5 4 9 3 7 8. So you will have a 1 or a 6 in here. and 6 is eliminated, so this is a 1, and 1 cannot go here, so 1 goes here, and this becomes a 3 4, and this becomes okay. 9 cage can be satisfied. This would be 8, and this becomes 5 7, and using the thermo you can resolve that, so that's a 5 and that's a 7, and you have something less than 5 here, and 1 2 4 are eliminated, so that's a 3, that's a 6. So I'll just write digits on the keyboard now, because I hope you would have got understood how to use the digits in here. So this becomes a 5 for the 11 cage, and you have 8 here, so this is not an 8, and which means this is not a 7. So I think we can decipher this 16 cage. You can't have 1 and 2 and 5 and 8, which means you are left with 3 4 6 7 and 9. And it's easy to know that 3 must be part of the 16 cage, because if you don't have a 3, the minimum sum becomes 4 6 and 7, which is 17. So 3 must be part of that, and which means we need 13 more, which has to be 4 plus 9 or 6 plus 7. Okay, that we are not sure yet. So just we know that 3 must be here. Okay, we can use a bit of Sudoku in here. So this is 2, this is a 1, and this becomes a 4 6 pair. All right. Perhaps we can look at this 9 cage. It cannot be 4 plus 5, it cannot be 3 plus 6, it cannot be 2 plus 7. There is only one option left for the 9 cage. It can only be 1 plus 8. So as I mentioned at the start, all these sum combinations that I see, I'm able to spell it out because I've been solving years of Sudoku, and I know the sum combinations of 9. But if you're new to this, you can always enable the display combinations panels that I showed you in the game setting, and you can instantly see what are the options that make the 9. So until you are comfortable, until you are strong in solving Sudokus, you can enable that. So which means that I'll put a 1 here, because 1 plus 8 is the option here, 1 cannot go here. So that is a 1, that is an 8, and which means this is 1, this is 2, and now these corners can be erased. So 1 2 8 5 6 7 9. So this becomes a 3 4 now. I'll convert to center, and this has to be a 2, right? If you remember, 2 has to be in rows 1 and 2, and 2 cannot be here. So there is only one option for the 2 now. So this is 2, and now we know what is 2 plus 3 plus 4 to satisfy the arrow. This is 9. Okay, and now 9 cannot be in row 2. 9 becomes part of the 16 cage in addition with the 16, which means that there is only one option for the 16, which is 3 9 and 4, and this becomes a 6 7 pair, and this would have to be 8 to complete the row. And now I know the contents of these two cells. They need to add up to 12, cannot be 3 plus 9 4 plus 8. So this would have to be 5 7, and that means the final digit in this box must be a 6. That gives you a 9 here, because 15. And now we can make use of the bishop a little bit here. You have 1 2 and 4, which means this cannot be 4, because you cannot have digits, as per rules you cannot have digits repeating along this line. This is a bishop line, so this cannot be a 4. Okay, so how do we continue here? Okay, box 5 is completely empty, so which is making our task a little bit difficult. Okay, where does the 2 go in column 6? 2 cannot be in these 3 cells, 2 cannot be here, 2 cannot be in row 5 and row 6, so 2 has to go here. this becomes a 2. So I think we have to tackle this area by completing these areas first, right? Because it's completely empty. I don't think we can get anything here. So let's come over to this 14 cage maybe. This would have to take a 3. This 14 cage I mean. If it doesn't take a 3, the minimum sum in these 3 cells becomes 4, 5, 6 because 1 and 2 is already here. And 4, 5, 6 sum total is 15, which means 3 must be part of the grid to get to 14. So we need 2 more digits which add up to 11. Can't be 2, 9, can't be 3, 8. So 4, 7 or 5, 6. Okay. How do I go about it now? Not certain. Okay, this is 4 plus 8 or 5 plus 7. Let me write those possibilities. The 12, 4, 8 or 5, 7. And you can eliminate the 4 from something from here, I hope. 5 can be eliminated from here because this is part of this bishop line. Right, so 5 can be eliminated here. That's not a 5, which means this is not a 7. Ah, that's beautiful. In column 9, where does the 1 go? 1 cannot be in the middle of a thermometer and 1 cannot be anywhere here, so 1 has to be here. So that's 1, that's 2. So you can see here how the solve is beautifully progressing, and that's always the magic of handcrafted Sudokus. And that gives me a 1 in one of these 2 cells. So 2 goes inside the 11 cage now in column 7. And okay, so 2 cannot be in this cell because it's part of this bishop line. So 2 cannot be here, 2 would have to be here. And that resolves this 2, 9 pair. So you have 14 from here. Okay, so we can make use of the fact that this row sums up to 9. So 6 plus 7 plus 9 is 22. And 22 plus 2 is 24, and you have 14 from these cells. So 24 plus 14, which gives you 38. So we need 7 more from these cells, which is 45 minus 38. So you cannot have 8 in here. So you either have 4 plus 3 or 5 plus 2. 5 plus 2 is ruled out. So this is 4. Yeah, this is 4. This is 3. This would have to be 8. And now this can be resolved, 4 and 3. And this column can be completed. It would have to be 5 and 7 because of the thermo. And this has to be less than 5, only one option possible, 1. And now you have 8 cannot be in these cells, so 8 goes in here. This becomes a 6, 9 pair. And now we know the contents of this cell. 6 is eliminated. The moment you eliminate 6, 5 also gets eliminated. So this becomes a 3, 4, 7, and which means this would be a 7, this would be a 5. Okay, we can write the contents here. These become a 5, 6 pair. Beautiful. I'll absolutely enjoy the solve path here. And now for the 13 case, you cannot have 6 plus 7. So this becomes a 9 and a 4, which resolves this. This is 3, this is 4, and this is 6 for the box. And row 9 can be completed. This would have to be a 6, this has to be a 3, and this becomes a 7, 9 pair. So do you see the joy that the Sudoku is giving you? These all come only when they are handcrafted by a human. So this becomes a 1, 5, 8 triplet, and that is satisfying the 14. So maybe we can use the bishop part here to help us. 4 cannot be here. So 3, 6, 8 and 2 and 5. So you cannot have 3 and 8 here because it's part of the bishop line, right? 3, 6 and 8 cannot go here. So that becomes a 7, this cell, which means you have 8 here. So 8 would have to go here. That becomes a 3, and 7 is not here. 3, 4, 3 is not here. 4, 7. and along this bishop line 4 cannot be coming, so this would have to be a 7. That becomes a 3-4 pair. Now 7 in column 5 cannot be here, cannot be here, cannot be in any of these cells, so 7 would have to go here. So 3 is not here, so this is a 4 and 9. You have a 3-9 pair, so 4 would have to go here. Okay, so you have 3 more cells and you already have placed 6 digits along this bishop, right? 2, 5, 7, 3, 6, 8. So which means that these 3 cells must be 1, 4 and 9, right? This cannot be 5 and 8. So this would be 1 and these 2 cells become a 4-9 pair. This would be 4-9 and this would be 4-9. You have a 4 here, so that's a 9, that's a 4 and that resolves this. This is 4, this is 3 and this 4 resolves this 4 and 6 and which in turn resolves to 6 and 5. This becomes a 3-8 pair for the row. You can quickly go through these final steps. So 3 is here, which means this is 3, this is 8. 4, 7, 9, 2, 3, 8. So we need 1, 5, 6. 6 cannot be here, so that's a 6. And 1 is here, so that's a 1, that's 5. This 6 gives me a 6 here, a 7 here, a 7 here, and 9 here. And a 9 resolves this 9 and 3. And final 2 digits 5 and 8. And with that we have completed this Sudoku. So it is saying us that we have done a great job. And it was an excellent Sudoku. It was beautifully handcrafted and really enjoyable to solve, right? So hope you guys enjoyed watching me this amazing hybrid Sudoku sent to us by LogicWiz. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you soon.